everything new. We live new. A brighter path is calling me and you. Week by week, we grow inside with wisdom as our daily guide. A renewed mind, a journey we will see to become the best of who we're meant to be.
Hi, welcome to the Renewed Mind Podcast, a space where clarity meets purpose and every thought becomes a step toward a better life. I'm your host, and my name is Tokunbo Akomo, and I'm glad you are here. Each episode is designed to help you pause, reflect, and realign your thinking with the values that truly matter. Through simple, meaningful insights, we explore how a renewed mindset can shape the way you live, respond, and grow. So take a moment to settle in. Let's dive into today's conversation. Where in your life are you working hardest, but for goals that are not actually yours? Think about a decision you regret. Was it misaligned with your values, or did you not yet know what your values were? Listen to this. If your daily calendar were shown to a stranger, what would they say your top 3 priorities are? And how close would that be to the truth? What is that one thing you keep saying matters to you, but consistently fail to act on? Yes, what does that gap tell you? If you could only change one behavior this week to bring your actions closer to your values, what will it be? And what is actually stopping you from starting that today? Are you living the life you chose, or the one you drifted into? And when did you last stop to check the difference? All of this we'll be discussing today as we look at the topic alignment. What does alignment truly mean? Alignment is the degree to which your actions, decisions, and habits consistently reflect your core values and intentions. Notice the word consistently. When what you do matches what you believe, that is alignment. Living without inner contradiction, that is alignment. Your behavior is an honest expression of who you say you are. When how you show up for people reflects the kind of partner, friend, or colleague you actually want to be. Yes. See, what we're trying to say is alignment is the distance between your stated values and your lived reality. And you know the truth is, the smaller that gap, the greater your alignment. Yes, the smaller the gap, the greater the alignment. And you know the truth, alignment is not perfection. It's honest. It's an ongoing calibration. It's an ongoing thing. Let me tell you a story about Jude. Jude had owned his father's watch repair shop for 11 years. Jude was so good. He had a steady hand, a patient eye, the kind of quiet competence customers would always trust. But every evening, locking up, he felt it, a low hum of wrongness he couldn't name. Yes, that thing was there. He told himself it was fatigue, then the economy, then his marriage, which had grown politically distant. He blamed everything except the obvious thing. He had never wanted to fix watches. He had wanted to make furniture. That was what Jude wanted to do. His father had handed him the shop, and Jude had accepted it the way people accept weather. You know? So one Tuesday, a woman brought in an antique compass to him, not a watch. But she said he was careful with delicate things. As Jude walked on it under the loop, something shifted. Yes, the needle, once freed of its rust, trembled and swung, not randomly, but decisively, to the north. He sat back. The compass didn't debate north. No. He didn't compromise towards northeast out of obligation. No. He didn't drift south because south was easier. It simply pointed to the north. That night, he told his wife about the furniture. He expected her to laugh or worry about money. Instead, she said quietly, "I know. I've been waiting for you to say it." But you know what? He didn't close the shop the next day or the next month. See, alignment, he will learn, wasn't a single dramatic gesture. It was a series of small deliberate turns, each one bringing the needle a little closer to true. But you know what with Jude? It started with the workbench in the garage and the home faded. Yes, it left. This story you just heard about Jude is a metaphor for alignment. And let me ask you directly, what would your life look like if you stop negotiating with your own compass? Sometimes the gap between who you are and how you live doesn't announce itself. It just hums. Until the day you finally get quiet enough to hear it. Yes. And there are practical steps to working on your alignment. Number one is get quiet. Misalignment hums before it screams. You have to stop and be quiet long enough to hear it. Ask yourself, what am I tired of pretending that it doesn't bother me? The next one is you need to own your values. Many people live by inherited definition of a good life. Know which values are actually yours. And if no one would ever know, what will you choose? The next step is audit honestly. Your calendar and bank statements are more truthful than your intentions. Say, if a stranger studied your last 30 days, what would they say is your value? Think about it. See, you need to find the loudest gap. Don't fix everything. No. Find the one place misalignment is costing you the most. Where is the hum loudest? You know, the next one, you need to make one small turn, not a dramatic pivot, something. No, you need to just think about what could today that my value, if I work on, will be proud of. And you need to also sit with discomfort. Closing gap means disappointing people and admitting uncomfortable things. This is where most people stall. What am I afraid I will lose if I'm fully honest? And this one, you need to keep recalibrating. Alignment is not a destination. No, the compass needs regular checking. When last did you check your life? Alignment isn't a destination. You know what you need to do is to notice the gap, name what's true, take one step and repeat it. I would love to say this, that one of the greatest privileges of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Hence why you need to daily practice letting go of who we think we are supposed to be and embracing who we are. You know what? It's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. No, it's not hard. But you need to make sure that you are aligned with your actions and your belief. And see, I know we started today with a simple word, alignment. But you know what we have discovered is that it's not a concept. It's a practice. A daily, honest, sometimes uncomfortable practice of closing the gap between who you say you are and how you actually live. See, alignment doesn't demand perfection. No, it doesn't ask you to burn everything down and start over. No, it simply asks you to look clearly and honestly, those two words, clearly and honestly, at where your actions and your values have drifted apart, and then take one deliberate step to close that distance. And that's what we are talking about. That's the action point for you. One step. Because alignment is not built in grand moments. It's built in the small ones. The conversation you stop avoiding, the goal you stop postponing, the choice you make when no one is watching. That is what reflects who you actually want to be, not who you have been performing to be. Yes, you need to stop performing, then you need to start living. And here's why today's episode, I want to leave you with this, that alignment is not a destination you arrive at. It's a direction you keep choosing. Every day, in every decision, you are either moving forward towards your value or drifting away from them. So before this episode ends, I want you to pick one behavior, one habit, one relationship, one goal, and ask yourself honestly, does how I'm showing up here reflect what I truly believe? If not, now you know where to start. And there's never a better day to start than now. And you have to be honest with yourself and stay deliberate. Let me leave you with this, that the gap between who you are and how you live is always closable. It is one choice at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me on the Renewed Mind podcast. I hope today's episode gave you something meaningful to carry into your week. You need to remember that renewal starts in the mind, with the thoughts you choose and the perspective that you embrace. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast and share it with someone who needs it too. And before we go today, I want you to say these words with me. I want you to put your hands on your chest if you can and say that my mind is renewed and my steps are aligned. My life is changing, and I become better. Until I come your way next time, remember that's always about thinking new and living new. Thank you and have a good week.
Start your Monday with a rising flame, a clearer vision, a higher aim. On every platform, hear the call to stand up stronger after every fall. Renewed mind, we think new, we live new, together finding all that's true. A year of growth, a steady climb, a better